Hello. I wanted to talk about HRT. I started testosterone cypionate at 1 cc biweekly on November 11, 2004 through Dr. Wilson in Detroit. I don't recommend this doctor to anybody for various reasons, some of which I spoke about in my previous videos. With him, the 2-week or 14-day schedule that he had me on, it causes a T spike from taking the 1 cc dose, and then around the 10th day or so of the 14-day cycle, there's a crash. There's a testosterone crash where your levels drop and then your estrogen levels spike. And that can cause all sorts of uterine and reproductive issues, which is pretty much what happened to me. I keep looking down because I wrote some things down because I don't want to forget. I found out that the 1 cc dose was more standard around 20 years ago, and most doctors nowadays are prescribing half a cc half a cc weekly, because it keeps your levels a lot more regular. And what happened with me was it took about 6 months to stop having menses, and I later found out that that's kind of an early indication that something wasn't going correctly, which Wilson knew about, and he didn't think anything of it. I had my levels checked prior to starting testosterone, and then about a month after, but afterwards he didn't check my levels again, and I'd asked him on multiple occasions to check my levels, and he just kept saying, we don't need to do that. But yeah, we did. After my menstruation stopped, there was a good year and a half where everything was pretty much fine. I didn't have any problems, and then around the second year of being on T, I started having issues with spot bleeding around the crash end of my cycle when my estrogen would spike, and I would have all kinds of menstrual-like cramps and hot flashes, migraines, dizziness, insomnia, fatigue, all kinds of stuff, and a very weird, intense cramping post-orgasm that the only way I can describe it is really it kind of felt like my uterus was turning inside out, which was not pleasant. So that was a problem, and the symptoms just got progressively worse over time. And it was something that I had been mentioning at my appointments. Every appointment, I let Wilson know that it was getting worse at each appointment, and I would ask about getting my levels checked and all that, and he would keep saying, we don't need to do that. I would ask about adjusting my dose or my frequency of my dose, and he just said that he'd always prescribed 1 cc biweekly, and that's what he was going to keep doing, and he wanted me to stay on that dose if I was going to be under his treatment. And he said that the medical community changes their minds on hormones and their administration every 4 years, and he just pretty much said he didn't have time to deal with all that, and he thinks the 1 cc biweekly works and has worked for him throughout his whole career, so that's what he wanted me to stay on. And it's just pretty obvious, it was pretty obvious after that he wasn't, he didn't know what he was talking about with hormones. When I asked him, what could be done to help reduce my symptoms and everything like that, he said there was nothing really that he or any other doctor could do, and then I just needed to deal with the problems until I was able to get a hysterectomy. So I was asking him, how can we get a hysterectomy, because the symptoms were just getting worse, and it was having a great deal of impact on my life at that time. And he sent me to his associate, Dr. Amarikia,